Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Contemplative Commuter. So it's Saturday morning, it was my wedding anniversary yesterday and obviously I had a few drinks with Sarah to celebrate 16 happy years together. And it got me thinking this morning about making a quick video about what alcoholic drinks I go to in relation to my keto diet. It's a big question because lots of people get worried about, will alcohol kick me out of ketosis? Can I drink if I'm on a keto diet? What should I drink? You'll see lots of other videos out there that saying you should stay away from alcohol, it will kick you out of ketosis. But do you know what? Life's too short. I like to have a drink, so I'll try and give you some helpful consumer advice on what I buy and how much I drink, and does it actually kick me out of keto? So on that first question, last night I had a single gin and tonic and half a bottle of red wine, and just to check this morning I did my blood ketone measurements and I was still registering 1 millimole ketone levels, so I was still in nutritional ketosis despite having had alcohol the night before. So I think that answers the question of, does alcohol kick you out of keto? No, it doesn't. Excessive alcohol may do, and it's very dependent on what you drink as well. So obviously if I had been hammering the beers last night that are full of carbohydrates, of course I'd be kicked out of keto. But because I kept it with red wine that was quite dry, low in carbs, gin that's got absolutely no carbs at all, that's how I managed to stay in ketosis. So on that, what drinks would I recommend? Well, first and foremost, already mentioned it, gin. Gin is an incredibly clean burning alcohol, zero carbs. What you have to watch though is what you mix it with. Now I always go for Schweppes Slimline tonic water, and the reason behind that is looking at the nutritional data on the bottle, there are no carbohydrates in Schweppes Slimline tonic water. But I know products like Fever Tree are becoming really popular in the UK. If you look at their light version, and this is a key essential of when you're putting mixes into the drinks, if you sometimes look at the light version, they'll still have quite a few carbohydrates in there. So always check your mixer drink, even when you think you're going for the diet option. Brands like Fever Tree, like I said, there's still significant carbs in there, especially if you have a few. So gin is my first recommendation. My next one, well, it's any kind of whiskies, but I love bourbon and I especially love a Jack Daniel's and Diet Coke. Again, Diet Cokes, there's absolutely zero carbs in there, and with the Jack Daniel's as well, because it's a whiskey, there is no carbohydrates in there. So that's what you should be thinking about, is going away from the beers and moving to the hard, as they say in America, the hard liquors. So things like vodkas, gins, whiskies, brandies, they don't have any carbohydrates. So moving on, I'll move on to, I mentioned I had wine last night. I always go for a red wine, and I've gone for an organic here, an organic darling. I love Malbec, so I'll always try and go for a dry red wine. A glass, so that's 125ml measure, will be about 3 grams of total carbohydrates. So you can have a couple of glasses of red wine on an evening and it's only 6 grams of carbs, so you're not going to massively crash your total carbohydrate intake for the day. The other one, and this is very darling, is if I'm going to go white wine, I'll go champagne. Champagne's incredibly dry, and again, a glass of champagne is about 3 grams of total carbohydrates. It sounds like I'm a right ponce and I drink champagne all the time, which I do a little bit. But here's a top tip. This is from Lidl, £8 a bottle. I mean, that's incredibly cheap. So if you want to be keto, look posh, drink champagne, go to Lidl. This is really, really nice and stacks up, I think, against more expensive champagnes as well. So it's a really good go-to option. So that is my alcohol top tips, is just looking at the science. When you do drink, your liver does prioritise processing the alcohol. So you will not be, it will switch off the fat burning that you get with ketosis if you do have a drink. But don't panic too much. If you have a drink, try and stay with the very dry wines, preferably a red, and try and drink the hard liquors like whiskies, gins, vodkas, brandies, stuff like that, rather than go for beers or sweeter white wines. And don't forget, check your mixer drinks that they truly don't have any carbohydrates in there. So, if you found that helpful, or you just now think I'm a pisshead, which reminds me of one other top tip, you will find on keto, alcohol really does affect you quite quickly. So you might think I'm an incredible lightweight for only having a gin and tonic and half a bottle of wine, but I did feel quite merry and pissed after such a small volume of alcohol relative to the length of time I drank it over. But that's maybe one of the advantages of keto. It does make you a cheap date. Or maybe one of the disadvantages in that you can't actually guzzle that much alcohol because you will fall over. So if you found this video helpful, please subscribe. I'll put it in one of these corners. Have a check out of my other videos. Like I always say, I'm trying to build a community on this channel that help people live better lives, longer lives, look better, just be happier as well. So please give me some comments. Please like or subscribe or share or hate me, whatever it takes. Let's try and build a community, and I will see you next time. Thanks.